Hello, everyone, and today I have something quite special for you because last weekend I was able to have an interview and a coaching session with Sarah from the channel Sarah Dawn. Many of you may already know her from her ADHD videos, from her vlogs, maybe from her Strattera review. In fact, Sarah's Strattera review was one of the things that was standing in the very beginning of my ADHD exploration journey about a year ago. So definitely check out her channel here or a link in the description below. So on Sarah's channel, you will see the interview portion, which will be about ADHD, just talking a little bit about our YouTube channels, our life experience, and stuff like that. On my channel, in this video, you will see the coaching session example. Keep in mind that this is a little bit more rapid than it would normally be. You will see that we are really quickly jumping from the discovery questions and then into the topic itself, into the deep dive into the problems. Normally we would take a little bit more time, it would have a little bit of a different structure, but I think that you will get the idea. Here is a snippet of what you can find on Sarah's channel.
Do you want to or do you not want to? I don't know. I want to. I used to say that. I want to want.
That sounds like something I would have said. Yeah, for sure.
What are the actual core symptoms of ADHD?
I'd say difficulty regulating attention.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say difficulty keeping attention. It's more sort of sometimes it's a lot of attention, sometimes it's not at all, which is one of the reasons I didn't realize I had ADHD, because I was like, wow, sometimes I can really focus. So difficulty like with regulating it.
Because I imagine it as a pebble. As a pebble that is falling from a high mountain, and it starts to accrue more rocks, and it becomes an avalanche, right? And then the avalanche is like breaks 100 houses, and you're standing there when you're an adult, and you're looking at the avalanche, and you're like, well, like that's so horrible, right?
And without further ado, here is the coaching session itself. One more note, if you are interested in coaching yourself, you can check out my page. There will be a link in the description, or you can check out the channel. It would definitely be nice if you like it. And you can also consider subscribing if you're interested in learning more about self-development, ADHD, and similar stuff. With that said, I'll see you at the end of the video.
Things, and in the coaching conversation, we can often go very deep and actually we find the hidden problem, but a therapist would then try to heal the problem, right? Like somehow move past it, and then the future is open. But with coaching, it's more like we can identify the problem, but we also identify like the opposite of it. I mean, what we want to have as a future where this problem is no longer a problem. And then we focus on that vision, and through achieving parts of this vision, we then prove the old belief wrong automatically. And so it disappears. So we don't really have to heal it per se, because it gets healed by, like, for example, well, we can have a belief that we are worthless. We will never amount to anything. And then we start amounting to something. We start being successful. And suddenly the belief is confronted with reality that doesn't support it. And so the healing happens automatically. That is basically the simplest way I can make the distinction between coaching and therapy. I think, and because that's what helped me as well, that the transformation can help the person to be their own ADHD coach if they transform into like a different kind of mindset around it. And it definitely has a lot to do with self-acceptance, because without it, no progress can be made, really. As long as we hang on to the past and tell ourselves the negative things, it's really hard to move forward, because then when we are our own coach, let's say, it's very hard to work with a client that you hate on some level. Okay, so what was I talking about? Yeah, structure. And now I'm already messing the structure up. Would you say, in no particular order, what are your goals, dreams, and visions? Something, anything.
Okay. So I want to finish my book, or I've wrote a very short first draft, so I'm on the second draft and it's going to be a lot longer. So I want to have a book on my experience of ADHD finished.
What is it about?
It's just about my experience with ADHD throughout my life and getting diagnosed and what that was like later in life. So that's mostly what it's about. I have an Etsy shop where I make like craft things. I'd really like to pursue that further. It involves a lot of like, I think what makes it successful is like marketing, and something that I don't have a lot of patience with, or maybe knowledge with. So I would like that to, that's like one of my goals as well. Obviously, like YouTube is something that's sort of just ongoing that I'll always be doing. What else?
Well,
I'm pretty happy elsewise, I think.
Okay, and let's take a look at these things you mentioned. The ADHD book. It's basically your biography or monograph. Like, it is about your story.
Kind of
with
is.
ADHD. Then the Etsy shop. So what actually motivated you there, and what is your vision for it? If you let's start with that. What is your vision for the Etsy shop?
Okay, to be successful, to earn an income from it, or more of an income than I'm doing right now. I don't necessarily need to do it full time.
Okay.
But my motivation for it was because when I started spending a lot more time in nature, it really helped with my undiagnosed ADHD.
Yeah.
Like lots of hiking and just it was just, I don't know, I think it was just the quiet and the sounds of nature and everything really helped me a lot when I was struggling a lot.
That motivated you to start the shop as well?
Well, yeah, because I kind of combined, because I started to get a big interest in nature. I kind of combined that interest with I like being crafty, making things, and I kind of combine them together. So like two of my main interests, combine them together, which is kind of really nice for me. And then when I sell something, I like to put like extra touches on it as well, like package it up nicely and things, like a little card. And then I have people sort of share their thoughts about what I've made and that they appreciate it and things. And to me, that's like makes me feel kind of fulfilled. I think like the whole I don't know, helping people sort of thing. I can't really explain it very well, but the whole like how when I make YouTube videos and people say that it's helped them in some way.
Yeah.
With my craft, sometimes people say like it brought a smile to their face or something like that. And
yeah.
So would you say I really like helping people, basically.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to drive home. Like the value, the main personal value that you stand for is helping people. And whether it's via YouTube, where you actually provide your story and some tips and help, or by actually providing them with your craft and okay. So you mentioned before that you want to earn an income and be successful, and now you also mentioned that the success is also connected to the feeling that you have helped someone. So obviously it would not probably be the same thing, right? So income, like if you only earn a lot of income, it wouldn't be enough to you.
Oh no, I definitely think that's like a second motivator.
But on the other hand, which you say that if it provided enough income so that you could do it full time, basically, would that be preferable?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but you mentioned marketing, right? Because marketing and online shops are closely related. And I would say that it's a little bit unfair, but that's just how the world works. In online, it's very much so that no matter how good your product is, it's mainly about the marketing. So someone with a brilliant marketing and really like a product that they bought from China and without much thought can make more success than someone who made an
Mhm.
amazing product. And you also mentioned that you didn't have enough knowledge, or maybe not enough patience with marketing.
Yeah. Sometimes I know what I need to do to help market, such as use Facebook groups. That's helped me a lot. Especially last year, I posted in Facebook groups regularly, and I did make sales through doing that. And I haven't really been doing that. But then I feel that if I keep doing that, am I just pushing my product on people, like, to buy stuff? And people might think, well, she's just after the money, when I'm not. But
Yeah.
I still have those thoughts and worries.
That's very interesting. So I think that we have already identified maybe a little bit of a deeper belief. If you wouldn't mind going a little bit deeper in the vertical direction. Am I saying it right? Yeah, vertical direction. So you would feel, if you did like more direct marketing or basically sales, that you would be pushing your product on people. Why do you feel like that?
Yeah.
Or maybe rather, it's a complicated question. Let's say, how do you think the people feel when you offer them the product? For example, on a Facebook group, you think they might feel uneasy or some other negative emotion?
Yeah, I worry that they don't like it, pretty much. And yeah, that they
The product or the sales pitch?
Not the product, but yeah, the sales, the sales pitch. I think sometimes I don't like it when I see people take advantage of people, such as, like, sometimes I see some YouTubers, like, doing sponsorships and things like that is fine. But then when they always pushing every single time to buy something or to follow them or to comment, and they'll say for a reason, but they want you to comment to help their algorithm and things like that. I don't like that myself.
And would you say that I'm not sure currently what you're doing in your professional life, but would you say that in general, because you also mentioned that you have the rejection sensitive dysphoria, like, is it easy for you to ask people for something in general?
No.
No.
That is
Okay.
something, asking for help. Oh my gosh, yeah. I was in a job that I ended up stepping down from because I was struggling, and I was struggling so much I ended up stepping down. Because I could have just asked and spoke to someone about it sooner, but I didn't. I let it get worse and worse. I'm in a different job now. I am a senior lab technician at a chemistry lab.
Okay.
So I do help to manage, like, a small team, but I do take on a lot of responsibility myself. I know that's something I do because I don't like asking for help, and I don't like bossing people about. Because I'm worried that they're going to stop being confrontational to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you don't
I'm
like
a little insecure
confrontation.
about it.
You-
No, I don't.
Yeah. Okay, but in the situation of your workplace, you are the boss, right? In that particular
Yeah.
situation, so you could ask them, and they should shut up, basically, and they should do it. But you don't want to, because you don't want to cause some friction. You don't want them to get confrontation with you. Okay.
I worry. Even sometimes it doesn't really sound logical, but it is something that I worry about.
Yeah.
Like, regularly.
So from what I hear, assertivity wouldn't be like your top one. Okay. Would you say that it's causing you some troubles? Would you like to
I
be
think
more assertive?
Yeah, definitely want to be. A lot of times I find as well, people might share their opinions and be accepting of them, but then I'm afraid to share my opinion about something as well, because again, I'm worried how it will be taken.
Is this true in all situations? I will give an example because it's a not a very clear question. For example, in my case, I used to be very, very, very non-confrontational, but in situations of like elevated debate, I could be extremely confrontational, because suddenly it's different when a stranger asks me to like buy something from them. I'm like, yeah, sure, like just don't beat me, please. But that's what I usually did. But when I was in a debate that actually got serious, I would challenge everything and I wouldn't mind at all.
Right. Yeah.
Is there any distinction in your case?
Yeah, I think as well. I think if it's something that's not attached to myself in any way, if it's some sort of a subject matter that I don't relate to, or I know, just something that's separate from myself, I find it so much easier. Yeah.
And let's get back to the assertiveness. So you said you would be helped if you were more assertive, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What would it be like? What would change if you were more assertive?
My confidence. I would feel less bad about myself, because every time I'm not assertive and I want to be, that bothers me, and I will analyze that, and I will analyze that at a later date sometimes as well.
Yeah.
Like how I should have done this. I know I should have done this like this, but I didn't. And I also worry that other people don't think I'm assertive enough as well. Even if they're not saying it, I worry that that's what they think as well. And I think it's something that people notice sometimes. And so that worries me as well.
Would you say that when someone else makes a request of you and they are assertive, do you have negative emotions towards them? No.
Typically, no. I just do what they say.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't even like blame them or harbor any like ill feelings towards them?
No, because I generally understand the reason why they're being that way. You know. Right, okay, I'm understanding a bit more now.
Yeah. So in your case, of course, you are making reasonable requests, right? It's not, rather not making reasonable requests. You hold them inside and you don't make them.
Yeah.
But in other people, you can see clearly that it's reasonable and you don't blame them.
No.
But there is a belief that maybe when you make a reasonable request, other people may say, well, it's not reasonable enough for me. I won't do it. Is it because you really don't see your request as reasonable? Or is it more just of a feeling that you basically know that it's not true, but you can't break that barrier?
Yeah, it's the fear of it, yeah.
What would be the worst thing that could happen? Like, let's say you offer something on Facebook, or maybe you tell a coworker to do some work in the lab. What could happen? What would be like the worst, realistically speaking, right? Let's not assume that they will just go into a rage and start destroying stuff, but realistically speaking.
Realistically,
let's start with the lab. In the case of the lab.
Okay, at work, they would just refuse to do what I ask. I think would be one of the worst things, and I would try to negotiate with them, and they would still refuse, and I would just fail at persuading them to do what I want them to do, I think.
Is it possible in reality for them to refuse a request that you would give them, a reasonable request from you about some lab work? Can they realistically refuse to do it?
They shouldn't. No, I think it would look quite bad on them if they did refuse. It would reflect badly. And also, I think as well, I worry how I would make them feel.
Okay.
I don't want to, if someone sort of pulled a face, they said they'll do it, but they were quite unwilling still, but they would still do it.
Mhm.
I would worry that I was upsetting somebody or making them do something they didn't want to do, is what I think as well.
You already take, for example, rejection quite harshly,
Yeah, yeah.
but still, even when you're quite sensitive, you have no problem in accepting reasonable, assertive requests.
Mhm. Mhm.
So why would you believe that other people are much more sensitive towards your reasonable requests?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a belief, right? And it's a belief connected maybe to how you view your request on an emotional level rather than logical. So
Yeah.
you know that it's
Yeah.
reasonable. You know that they should do it. And then you fear that if you make it, they might get confrontational. Now, the fear of confrontation in itself may be understood as illogical. We sometimes need to go into confrontation, but in this case, it's not even going to happen, right? Like,
Right, yeah.
so they have no reason to go into confrontation. And if they did, as you said, what would it do to themselves, right? What would it reflect upon them? It's not your fault. Actually, you are the one, they are the ones that are making fools out of themselves. Probably could lose a job if they refuse for long enough.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But it's scary. It's scary, right? To just make a request, even though you know it's reasonable. Because what if? But let's figure out, like, is there anything else that could happen? They can get either confrontational or they could get negative emotions. We already discovered or interpreted what would happen. Like, they really can't get confrontational. They really can't refuse. Or if they can, they would need to have a really good reason for why. And then there's the negative emotions. You don't want to cause them negative emotions, but a reasonable assertive request usually doesn't. And in your case, you know from personal experience that it doesn't cause negative emotions to you. So is there anything else? There may not be. But
I'm not sure. I think I might worry. I don't know about that, actually. I thought I might worry people might speak behind my back. But then again, I'm not sure because I wouldn't know about that. So,
yeah. And if you found out, actually, right, you wouldn't know about it. Then you wouldn't know about it. There's a saying that I can't remember, but there's a saying about what we don't know and stuff like that. But if you found out, would that make you feel sad? Like, let's imagine that you make only reasonable requests assertively, right? And your co-workers do them with no problem. But then 2 days later, you find out that they are saying, well, she made this request and I didn't really want to do it and it sucks and she's terrible or something. How would it make you feel? Would it make you feel sad or angry? Or something else, or joyful?
Angry. And I would feel that I'm incompetent, that they think I'm not good enough to do the role.
Really? Why would you feel incompetent?
I think I worry that when I'm making a decision, I worry every time, is it the right thing for this? Am I asking the right thing? And I worry that I might be asking the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing.
Is it possible that if you ask the wrong thing and the people that you work with tell you, well, it would be better if someone else did it, for example, or it would be better if it was done another way, would that be bad?
It would feel bad. Yeah.
And why? What is the problem that arises for you when someone says, well, let's do it this way rather than that way? Assuming they do it with no obvious negative emotions, they say, well, I have a different idea, let's do it this way. And you say, well, okay, that's a better idea.
it would make me feel like I think it would make me feel like I'm not good enough at my job, that I'm a failure, and other people know more than me when I should be the one who knows more.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Do you think that people in leadership positions should always know best?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they don't, but
Mhm.
maybe I do.
There's like a shift in management that was happening over the past decades. And one of the very, very important things that are implemented in modern companies is that managers take their employees or their subordinates very seriously. And every time they make a decision, they ask for feedback. Every time they want to be challenged. That is the paradigm shift towards new styles of management. So, what does it say to you? That this is the modern approach?
Yeah.
Let's try to contrast that with the leader should always be right, right? Is it even humanly possible to always be correct?
No, definitely not. No.
Okay.
No.
And there is a great advantage for a leader that he is leading someone. He has a team, right? And if the leader is actually thinking or assuming that he's always correct, then the team may actually start to feel some resentment towards that. Maybe you can imagine a boss from your past, or maybe just an example from a character from a movie, like the person that always knows best and just is commanding people around, not asking them their opinions. Is that a likable person?
No.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
So when we compare this leader that is always right, which is humanly impossible, so he thinks he's always right, with the leader that makes requests but is occasionally wrong, but is completely willing to accept criticism, who is going to be the one that is liked by the team?
The one who accepts criticism.
Yeah. Does it make sense? Even like personally, if you imagine yourself as the employee, doesn't that actually, like, we can take it a step further. If you were the employee and your manager says something and you don't feel like it's the best idea, and you're like, hey boss, maybe we could do it this way, and the boss is like, well, that's a good observation, okay, let's look at it from this point of view. How would that make you feel as the employee?
Good. Pretty good, I think.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, this is what I've always been like. Even as somebody who's an employee, I've never challenged anybody in authority. I've never done that.
I see. Well, and that's also related to the assertiveness, and we can get to that. But now we are talking. We are looking at it from the perspective of you as the boss, right, or the leader in the particular situation. And as you can see, I believe that you can see that clearly. Actually, if you are wrong sometimes, or you don't provide the optimal solution immediately, and you give the team how is it called? an opportunity to suggest something, and then to be heard and to be like supported, like, yeah, right, John, that's a good idea, let's do that. Will they like you more, or will they like you less? Will they say, oh, well, she's not good at her job, or will they say, well, yeah, this is like, she's listening to us? What's more likely?
Definitely more. Yeah, definitely more. And I've seen that as well in my life, in my working life. People not liking people in charge so much when they are really bossy, and they won't listen to anybody else, and they don't give anyone else a chance to speak. I've seen that, so yeah.
So there's a third problem, let's say, with the assertiveness as the team leader, let's say. So we had one, that they will go into conflict, but they probably won't, and if they do, it reflects back badly on themselves. Maybe they will have negative emotions, but as you know from your own experience, reasonable requests don't really carry negative emotions with them. And then maybe you make the wrong request, or maybe it's not the optimal solution, which gives them the opportunity to correct you or suggest something new. And then it gives you the opportunity to listen to them. And it actually creates a positive feedback loop that is not only motivating for the team, but you learn something new and you have a chance to prove that you're not this stuck up leader that just knows everything the best, but you are open to criticism and that you are open to ideas. So overall, I think that these are all quite good solutions, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely.
But if I asked you now, it's action time. If I asked you, would you consider the next time you are faced with taking a responsibility for yourself or delegating it, would you now consider taking the step into the uncomfortable zone and actually delegating it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I would give it, I'm more likely to give it a go. But I might take smaller steps to begin with.
What would be a smaller step?
Okay, so that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the little taster of what coaching is actually like. If you like it, I can make more such videos in the future. And if you want to be coached yourself, you can check out the page, you can subscribe to the channel, or you can shoot me an email at. And with that said, thank you for watching. Like if you liked, subscribe, click the bell or whatever. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, bye bye.